Hi, welcome to My Mini Addiction. This is week 11 of my 2023 painting vlog, and if you're new to my channel, I make and paint miniatures and terrain for tabletop gaming, and the last couple weeks I've been working on painting through the Dragon's Hoard Volume 1 by Next Level Miniatures, and that is a collection of 133 miniatures. I finished another 37 this week, and I'm so close to being done with the whole collection. I think I have maybe like 7, 8, 9, something like that left to go. So really close to being done with all of those. And when I do complete the whole thing, I will put a video showing all the minis from that collection, you know, all painted, and then I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit about what I thought of the minis in general and how it was to paint them and that kind of thing. So as soon as I get done with the rest of the minis from this collection, I will put together a overall video for Dragon's Hoard Volume 1. And so that was my main focus this week, was trying to, you know, work more on these next level minis. Despite, you know, my cats getting in the way. They're, you know, I keep my roll top desk closed most of the time, but when I'm painting, they're open, and, you know, they have their little spot they like to sit, and they're always walking across my desk or in my lap, and, you know, it can be a little awkward, but I've learned how to work around the cats. And speaking of my desk, it is always a crazy mess during the week. And actually, I started putting something on my Patreon that I'm calling my midweek mess, because when I do these videos, you know, I close up everything. You don't see the chaos I have going on under there. But I was like, oh, maybe you need to see, because it's just, yeah, I leave everything out, and it's just... because if I have like even 5 minutes that I can sit down and just do a little something at any point during the week, I'm going to take that time. So I leave out all the paints I've been using recently. There's minis all over. There's brushes everywhere. And so, you know what? You don't have to have like the perfect workstation. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean. It doesn't have to be free of animals. Just as long as, you know, you've got a place that you can sit down, spend a few minutes and get some work done, that helps get you through, you know, getting all the minis done. I don't always get this many done, you know, every week, but there's some weeks that I just manage to, you know, find the time, you know, here and there. Every day I try to do a little bit of painting or, you know, something. And I was planning on, because I've been leaving most of the bases plain, and I was planning on kind of doing like, once I got the set done, just doing like a mass take a day and just, you know, do stuff on all of the bases. Now there was a few that I went ahead and did this week, like the spiders, because I left this, I didn't glue the spiders on the bases originally, and so because I needed to paint spider bellies, so, you know, I had to have it so they weren't attached and made it easier to paint. And then I wanted to do a little something, you know, extra on there, and I actually shot a little bit of video of this. I'll find a place to put the video. It's really short, but I kind of sped up a time lapse of taking the bases, just super gluing some little rocks on, and then I have this kind of mixture that I use for creating kind of a ground cover on the base, and then I tore apart a little cotton round to kind of make it look like there's a little bit of spider webbing underneath, and then I glued the spiders on. So that way it was kind of a little extra something that made the spiders look a little better, because they're just kind of plain, because there wasn't a lot. I didn't take a lot of time to, you know, paint them all kind of different. Instead, I thought I'd take that time and make the bases pretty. Another thing I did was there's, you know, elementals in this group, and I have a lot of elementals from other miniature collections, and I thought, well, what if I took the air elemental and maybe made it look like it was picking up some leaves? So I went and I just kind of glued like some dried leaves along the base, and then some kind of going up on the air elemental, just thinking about it. I was like, oh, well, if it's, you know, traveling through by where there's some dried leaves, it probably would pick it up. Something I'd never done before. I thought I would do it just to make it a little bit different. So that way, you know, I've got quite a few of them, and if each one is a little bit different, it might work, you know, better in a, you know, whatever happens to be going on in the game that we use it in. And then one other thing I did was we had, there were 5 of the Hellhounds, and then also a Cerberus. And they're very, yeah, that's too far away, but they're very similar, and like the Hellhounds, it kind of looks like they're glowing, supposed to be glowing on the inside. So actually what I did on these is I put a phosphorescent paint in there, and this, I will show pictures because it probably won't show up too well on the camera here. I'm going to kind of look away for the UV light, but when it gets hit with UV light, it'll kind of light up the inside. I mean, it didn't take a lot of extra, but little things like that are kind of fun to do to make it, change it up a little bit. So that was some of the kind of extra things that took a little bit more time this week. And as far as 3D printing going, last year we started making from Archvillain Games their Orcus. Now, this is a really big model. And we started 3D printing all the parts, and then we'd gotten a new printer in the middle of making it, and the new printer was a lot more detailed. And then I found that some of the pieces just didn't fit together just right, and there was a bit more gapping. And, I'd started putting together last year, and then was getting a little frustrated at the fact that I was just like, oh, these don't, we changed printers, and it shouldn't have made a difference, but it made just enough difference that we decided to put it on hold. But we went back, and all of the missing pieces we reprinted, and we just finished getting all of the parts. I started assembling him, but it's going to be a long process to get everything all put together just right. There are so many parts. It's a huge resin model. So I'm not going to show it until I have it all complete. So that might be in another week or two, because it's just like I'm trying to, as I'm getting it glued together, take care of, trying to hide some of the seams, because there's, they fit together. I'm going to say like, 99%, but you could still, there's some little gaps that I still got to do a little bit of working, kind of cleaning up some stuff. So I'm going to kind of wait on that. There was a few other smaller models that got 3D printed that I haven't even really looked at. They're just sitting on a tray waiting for me to clean them up. So I'm not even going to count any of those because I don't have anything to show this week. So that is kind of my wrap up for week 11. So close on the Dragon's Hoard minis, and so I'm probably going to finish those this next week. Maybe I'll have Orcus to show you, or maybe it'll be another 2 weeks. My fantasy city that I'm working on, did a little painting on the magic library, but haven't had time to do that. The Mage's Battleground is probably going to be another 2 weeks of 3D printing just because of how long it takes, and I've got a lot more pieces to work on that. So that will be coming up. So if you guys don't want to miss out on any of those upcoming projects, make sure to subscribe. And then also I am supposed to be doing a special project where I was going to kind of fix up, give a makeover, I guess would be a good term, on my fish market. So that will probably come up after next level, as long as we don't get any new Kickstarters in right away. So we will kind of see on that, because we've got stuff that is coming. I just don't know exactly when. So anyway, let's take a look at the minis I got done for week 11.